It was a deceptively beautiful summer day, the kind that masks the creeping shadows lurking just beyond the sunlight. My 5-year-old son, James, was playing alone in the backyard of our quaint suburban home. James has always been a quiet boy, his few friends mere figments of his wild imagination. As a single mom, I often found myself stretched thin, trying to keep an eye on him while juggling countless other tasks. That day, I was in the kitchen, feeding our dog, Fido, when I heard James conversing animatedly with someone. My heart skipped a beat. Had he finally found a friend? Curiosity and a sliver of unease propelled me outside. To my surprise, James was alone, his laughter seemingly directed at the empty air. "James, it's time to come inside," I called. He obediently trotted in, and as I made him a turkey sandwich, I couldn't resist asking, "Who were you talking to out there?" James looked up with an innocent smile. "I was playing with my new friend, Laughing Jack." My heart fluttered with a mix of confusion and concern. Laughing Jack. What does he look like? James's description was unnerving. A clown with long hair, a swirly cone nose, long arms, baggy pants, and a perpetual smile. I dismissed it as an imaginary friend, a phase that would soon pass. Night fell, bringing with it an unsettling quiet. I put James to bed, tucking him in and kissing his forehead. I, too, retired early, but sleep did not bring solace. Instead, it plunged me into a nightmarish realm. I found myself in a dilapidated amusement park, the air thick with a sense of foreboding. Everything was in shades of black and white, grotesque stuffed animals hanging from nooses, their stitched grins mocking my fear. The silence was shattered by the haunting tune of "Pop Goes the Weasel," drawing me to a circus tent bathed in eerie light. Inside, the music slowed, my voice involuntarily singing along. All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. The music stopped abruptly, and blinding lights revealed dark silhouettes shuffling toward me, disfigured, mutilated children, their lifeless eyes fixated on me. They clawed at my flesh, tearing me apart amidst a cacophony of deranged laughter. I awoke drenched in sweat, my heart pounding. James's toys, eerily arranged, stared at me from the nightstand. Dismissing it as a prank, I found James asleep, none the wiser. At breakfast, he seemed distant. "James, did you put the toys in Mommy's room?" I asked. His response was chilling. Laughing Jack did it. The day passed in a haze of unease. That evening, I dozed off, only to wake with a start. James was gone. Panic surged through me as I searched the house. I found him on the sidewalk, munching on hard candies. "Where did you get those?" I demanded. His reply was a whisper. Laughing Jack gave them to me. Fear gnawed at me. That night, a loud crash from the kitchen jolted me awake. I rushed down to find chaos. Everything upturned, Fido hanging lifeless from the light fixture, his stomach grotesquely stuffed with candy. A blood-curdling scream from James's room sent me sprinting upstairs, knife in hand. The sight that greeted me was pure horror. James was nailed to the wall, his body mutilated beyond recognition. He was still alive, barely. Behind me, a chilling laugh echoed. I turned to see Laughing Jack, a monstrous clown with piercing eyes and a twisted smile. Rage consumed me as I lunged at him, but he vanished, leaving me to accidentally drive the knife into James's heart. My world shattered. I cradled my dying son, sirens wailing in the distance. The police found me drenched in blood, the knife in my hand. Declared insane, I was confined to an asylum. Now, I sit in my cell, haunted by the melody of "Pop Goes the Weasel" echoing outside my window. The orderlies will hear about it in the morning, but I fear it's already too late. Weeks in the asylum blurred together, my mind tormented by the relentless replay of that horrific night. The doctors said I was delusional, that my grief had twisted my reality, but the laughter and the music that haunted my nights told a different story. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the sinister tune of "Pop Goes the Weasel" would drift through the barred windows, mocking my sanity. One particularly oppressive night, I awoke to a sound more disturbing than the usual melody. It was a faint scratching, like nails on a chalkboard, coming from the direction of my door. My pulse quickened, and I held my breath, straining to listen. The scratching grew louder, more insistent. Summoning what little courage I had left, I approached the door and peered through the small, barred window. In the dim light of the hallway, I saw a small figure hunched over, its hands moving feverishly against the door. As my eyes adjusted, I realized with a jolt of terror that it was one of the disfigured children from my nightmare. Its eyes were hollow, and its mouth stretched into an unnatural, silent scream. The child looked up, meeting my gaze, and then it was gone, as if it had never been there. Shaking, I backed away from the door and sank onto my bed. My breaths came in ragged gasps, and I buried my face in my hands, trying to escape the nightmare that had become my reality. But there was no escape. Not here, not anywhere. The following morning, I told the orderlies about the music, the scratching, the child. They exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of pity and skepticism. "It's just your mind playing tricks on you," they said. "There's no music, no children. You need to rest." Rest. The word had lost all meaning. How could I rest when the boundaries between my nightmares and my waking hours had dissolved into nothingness? Days turned into weeks, and the asylum's oppressive routine weighed heavily on me. But one evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, something changed. The air felt charged, electric, as if anticipating some impending doom. I lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling, when the music started again. This time, it was louder, more insistent, and I could hear whispers beneath the melody, soft, sinister murmurs that made my skin crawl. I sat up, clutching my knees to my chest, and tried to block out the sound. But the whispers grew louder, more distinct. They were calling my name. Ella. Ella. My heart pounded in my chest as I looked around the room, searching for the source of the voices. And then I saw him. Laughing Jack stood in the corner, shrouded in shadows, his twisted smile wider than ever. His eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and he beckoned me with a long, bony finger. "Come play with us, Ella," he whispered, his voice dripping with malice. "Come join the fun." I wanted to scream, to run, but my body refused to obey. I was rooted to the spot, paralyzed by fear. Laughing Jack stepped closer, his laughter echoing off the walls, mingling with the whispers and the music. He reached out, and I felt a cold, clammy hand wrap around my wrist. "No!" I screamed, finally finding my voice. "Stay away from me." But he didn't listen. His grip tightened, and he pulled me towards him. The room seemed to warp and twist around us, the walls melting away to reveal the nightmarish amusement park from my dreams. The ground beneath my feet shifted, and I stumbled, falling to my knees on the cracked, black and white pavement. Around me, the disfigured children emerged from the shadows, their hollow eyes fixed on me. They formed a circle, closing in, their whispers growing louder, more urgent. Laughing Jack towered above me, his laughter a cacophony of madness. "Welcome to the carnival, Ella," he crooned. "Welcome to your new home." I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The children reached out, their cold, clammy hands grabbing at my clothes, my skin, pulling me down into the darkness. Laughing Jack's face loomed closer, his breath hot and foul against my cheek. "Forever," he whispered, and then everything went black. When I awoke, I was back in my cell, my body aching and my mind shattered. The orderlies found me curled up in a corner, my wrists bruised and bloodied from the night's ordeal. They looked at me with a mixture of pity and resignation. "There's no music, no children," they repeated, their voices empty and hollow. "You need to rest." But I knew the truth. Laughing Jack was real, and he was never going to let me go. I was trapped in a never-ending nightmare, and there was no escape. Each night, the melody would play, the whispers would begin, and the children would come. And each night, I would be dragged back into the twisted carnival of horrors, where Laughing Jack waited to torment me. The days turned into weeks, the weeks into months. My grip on reality slipped further and further away. The doctors increased my medication, but it did nothing to silence the voices or stop the music. I was a prisoner of my own mind, trapped in a cycle of fear and torment. One night, as the familiar melody began to play, I made a decision. I could no longer live in this nightmare, haunted by Laughing Jack and his twisted carnival. I would end it, once and for all. I waited until the orderlies made their rounds, then quietly slipped out of my bed. I found a shard of glass hidden under the mattress, a remnant from a broken window. With shaking hands, I pressed the shard to my wrist. As the blood flowed, the music grew louder, the whispers more urgent. The disfigured children appeared, their hollow eyes watching me. Laughing Jack stepped out of the shadows, his smile wide and menacing. "Going somewhere, Ella?" he asked, his voice a sinister whisper. I met his gaze, my vision fading. "I'm leaving, Jack. I'm leaving you behind." He laughed, a sound that sent chills down my spine. "You can never leave, Ella. You're mine. Forever." As the darkness closed in, I felt a strange sense of peace. I knew that, even in death, I might never be free of Laughing Jack. But I also knew that I would no longer be his plaything, no longer trapped in his twisted carnival. I would find my own escape, in whatever form it took. And as the world faded to black, I heard his laughter one last time, echoing in the darkness, the sound that would haunt me for all eternity.